Study Arata. Today I want to teach you a way to greatly accelerate your language learning. You need to find ways to interact with local people who are native to that language that you want to learn. Before explaining specifically how you're going to do this, we need to make it very clear why this step is decisive for your language learning and your fluency. Let me use a metaphor for you to understand it better. Imagine, for example, that you want to become an excellent basketball player. So you spend the whole day throwing the ball into the hoop, trying to improve your shooting skills. However, when you go to a real game, your opponents can easily steal the ball from you. You may not have enough breath to run after them. So in this case, in spite of having done an excellent work, training your hoops, throwing the ball, you may not have physical conditioning to be able to run, and also you may not know how to dodge your opponents. Your training, therefore, just doing some hoops, throwing the ball, was not a smart way to practice, to prepare. Similarly, when you go to a classroom and just interact with other students who do not speak the language fluently, you're doing something pretty similar to that training, just throwing, doing some hoops. The same thing happens when you try to study the language by listening to podcasts or audiobooks or taking classes online. If in your day-to-day studies you do not have the constant practice of interacting with native speakers, you will have great difficulty in applying the language in real life. Take a moment to realize the huge number of people with whom you do not yet have the skills to communicate. Our planet already has more than 7 billion people. Most of them do not speak your mother tongue. In fact, do you know what are the most widely spoken languages in the world? The first, as you might imagine, is Chinese. Then there is Spanish, with a little bit more native speakers than English. Next, Hindi, Arabic, and Portuguese. If your native language is one of those languages, and you can learn another one as a second language, then you can connect with people from all over the world. Now, if you don't know these languages, you're not building bridges. You stop communicating with different types of people, or else you'll only be able to have a superficial relationship with these people. In addition, people who are in other regions of the planet and who speak other languages are sources of different cultures, different traditions, different points of view, and they are different people. And all of this enriches your experience and helps you to mature. Your process of improving your self-knowledge becomes richer when you have the chance to meet new people. The quality of the communication is different when you don't need to use English as an intermediate language. Imagine that you are friends with a person from China, and the two of you use, for example, English to communicate, right? The common language between the two of you. And even if there is fluency, it will be quite different if your Chinese friend could speak your language fluently, or if you could speak Chinese fluently. This is one of the reasons why travelers strive to learn a little of the local language in the country that they intend to visit. Imagine that an Indonesian person goes to Denmark and Germany and Belgium on vacation. He knows that he can handle English well in most situations. However, by learning the basics and essentials of these local languages, he will be showing his interest and respect for the local culture. Understanding the language is one of the doors to understand new cultures, new people. Your experience as a traveler in new territories can be completely different when you truly communicate with the locals, immersing yourself in the place, the people, the culture, the historical tradition. This is what separates tourists from travelers. If you want to speak a foreign language, it is essential that you put your learning into practice as soon as possible. You need to gain experience in your ability to express ideas, have conversations, and it can be even with yourself in the beginning, as long as it is out loud. Speaking is a fundamental part for you to communicate. So it is important that you find new ways to communicate. If you don't speak, you limit your learning process. You can look for other people who also want to improve fluency in that language. It is easy, and I show you how to do this in the course, How to Speak Languages. And even better, you can search for native speakers of that language to talk to you. And there are several websites and apps for finding these people. You can set up online conversation sessions and still take advantage of the fact that they are excellent teachers to give you tips on your learning. It is not enough to just say that you can understand what other people are saying. To be fluent, you also need to be able to verbalize your own ideas. This is a very common mistake for those who try to learn languages. People focus on learning to understand, and then they forget the important tool of speaking and communicating. This often happens out of shyness. So to speak well, you cannot be afraid of making mistakes or looking ridiculous. Another big mistake for those who try to learn a language is to be ashamed of making mistakes. You are learning. So it is normal to say something wrong or to use a ugly accent. It is okay if you pronounce a word wrongly or using the grammar inappropriately. Understand that you are still learning. This is normal. No one will expect you to be fluent like a native on first day. Fear of making mistakes can block your practice. That way, you will not be able to progress. To communicate, use real-life situations. Apply your learning to real-life situations, preferably involving other people and topics that you like, as we saw on episode of Study Arata number 25. So, for example, if you're a fan of comics, you can try to go to some international conventions in the language that you're learning. You can try to understand the lectures that are happening there, talk to local fans, and also buy more comics in other languages that you can read. Or you can start submitting to real situations or by taking trips and exposing yourself to certain circumstances. Think about the following situation. You're traveling, you begin to feel sick, you don't have access to a doctor, to a hospital. However, there is a first aid box near you. Inside, you find several pills with packages written in that foreign language. Which one of the pills will be for headache or nausea or cold or contraceptives or who knows what? Only with a minimal knowledge of that language you will be able to find the right medicine. Now imagine another case. You're walking alone on the street and some stranger near you starts to feel sick. You're the only person around who can help, but that stranger does not speak your language. So your mastery of a second language could save a life. You will be better able to understand what the emergency is about and what kind of reaction to actually take action and get some help. Fluency in a language can also help you to avoid scams and escape from inconvenient situations more easily. Anyone who travels the world a lot knows that there are bad people who do everything to take money from unsuspecting tourists. And if you know the local language, you can get rid of these pitfalls and save yourself time, money, and headaches. And even though emergency situations rarely happen, the fact that you know how to deal with them will make you more confident to travel. Since I started posting videos on YouTube in Portuguese, English, Spanish, Italian, I received many emails from people asking for tips on how to learn new languages. And I tell you that fluency in a foreign language is acquired through different ways of preparation. I'm sure that you are already the type of person who has access to good books and dictionaries and videos and podcasts. However, this will not be enough if you're missing the practice of communicating with local people. I invite you to learn about our How to Speak Languages training by visiting arata.se/speak languages, and then you will understand how to take these first steps to meet and communicate with local people.